Jude Omena Ogbimi. From your days in primary school, Nana Primary School, you went to secondary school in
Ogbimi'S State.
And then you went again to Auchi Polytechnic.
Yes.
And from them you went off.
Yes.
Did it ever occur to you that one day you come and do politicking?
Well, it never did, because in the past I used to look at politics as a very dirty game. First of all, because of some of the caliber of persons that have emerged as politicians holding some positions, and the encouragement of violence and stuff in the society in the past actually discouraged me from politics until when our amiable governor, Senator Dr. Ifeanyi Okowa, emerged as governor. I met the governor for the first time, I would say. I'd known him while he was SSG, but we never interfaced. Well, we actually interacted in 2013, to be precise, while he was a senator. I was on my way back to the United States. He was heading to London. And we're on Virgin Atlantic, to be precise, the flight. And we got talking, and I was very shocked. I was actually shocked to my bone marrow. The humility I saw in him, the calmness, and his level of intellectual capacity was very, very impressive. And while on the plane, he was in upper class, I was in economy, where he exchanged complimentary cards. And his younger brother was one of my best friends in school. So I told him that. And when I got back to the States, I had called my friend to say, I was on the same flight with your brother. And he said he was going to tell him. So when he showed interest in 2015, that, to become the governor of the state, I actually flew down to Nigeria, supported him wholeheartedly, and I was quite impressed with the process that brought him on board. And then I realized that this man was actually God sent. As a Christian, I saw the glory of God for the first time on him. So at that point, I was like, you know what? Let me start showing interest in politics, which, as at that point, I came on board fully. Prior to that, I was always supporting passively.
What motivated you now to wanting to serve your people?
Actually, it's my my passion to serve humanity with sincerity of purpose. I've always been passionate. I've always been a philanthropist. In 2009, I did the first ever free healthcare in the whole of Owe, and probably amongst the first two in the whole of Isoko North, to be precise, where I had some of my doctor friends, even one of the consultants who was my childhood friend from the General Hospital here in Warri, Dr. Epire. They were all on board, and I saw the joy, especially amongst the older folks and the youths. They were so impressed, and I knew they were lacking a lot. I mean, if the people are not healthy, they can't be productive. So actually, that was what motivated me. Although I had a very terrible experience after that, because my profile was rising, and I was kidnapped in 2010, October 6th, to be precise.
People say, and I know that you're young, you're youthful, you're dynamic, extremely energetic. How are you going to translate those characteristics into being a legislator?
Anyway, I'm going to buttress on those terms. When you say young, yes, I'm young. Young entails a lot. That means, one, you have time on your side. Time on your side means you should be willing to learn. You should be open to criticism. And I believe that the best skill anyone can have is the skill of learning itself. Energetic. Yes, I am. You have to be energetic to be able to engage the youth. You should be able to come down to their level, to know their requirements, to talk with them, to go places with them and see what they're talking about, visit them, dine and wine with them, and, get to the same mentality level with them. Then dynamism is all about embracing changes. I'm a man who is positive, having traveled wide. The youths are the future of the world, basically. It's not only in Nigeria, all over the globe. So, I mean, you should be open to changes, open to new ideas, because no man has monopoly of knowledge. Neither does any man have monopoly of wisdom. So that's with that, I should be able to, with their requirements, with their needs, I should be able to come up with laws that will favor them, that will encourage them. It's not all about us. It's actually about our children and the unborn generation. If they don't have an enabling environment, they can't actually express their skills or talents in a way that will be appreciated, not only in their immediate environment, around the globe. They must stay competitive in everything they do.
You're coming midstream of the Eighth Assembly. Obviously, there must be some blocks and bricks and some foundations laid by your predecessor. Are you going to continue from where he stopped?
First of all, you must understand that late Tim Comel Wefere was not just an ordinary legislator. He was vibrant, he was skilled, he was tactful, he was sound. And you should understand that Delta State House of Assembly is the most vibrant House of Assembly in Nigeria today, if not at least one of the most vibrant in the house today, in the country today. And they already laid down structures and precepts that will guide me. And I know that he's passed a lot of bills. He's been involved in passing a lot of bills. Some of them might still be in the pipeline. I must tell you for sure that I will continue with the foundation he already laid because of his antecedents. The most important thing in passing bills or enactment of laws is apart from the review stage, you must monitor those bills, and essentially the implementation stage. You must ensure, because passing bills could be easy. Implementing those bills is what counts, to ensure that they're implemented. Because if they're not implemented, the people you're fighting for, the people you're representing, are not going to feel the impact. So with that being said, and I have a couple of friends in the house that I believe that with their vast knowledge and experience, they will guide me in doing quite a lot. And I believe that masterful legislation is all about teamwork. You must be willing to engage, negotiate, plead, as the case may be, to be able to come up with things that will be appealing.
You've been up and about internationally. You live there. You've done business there. You've seen it. You see how things have been run, how things have been done. The regulations and all that. Okay. How do you intend to translate what you've seen over there, what you practice over there? How are you going to bring to bear those things you've seen and those things you practice? The developmental standard over there.
Like today, I represent the biggest used equipment dealer in the United States, Milam's Equipment. Prior to this COVID era, I was already in negotiations with Milam's to take about 10 of my youths from my constituency over to the United States for them to learn more about heavy duty machineries. Even Ellicott Dredger gave my company in the United States the privilege to train people on how to operate dredges. I still have that contract with them. So this is an opportunity for me to actually hasten on those things so that our youths out there, apart from learning those things, they are also exposed to a lot of things, new ideas, because it's not just passing laws. It's actually has to do with complete reorientation of our youths. If all hands are not on deck, things are never going to change. So passing the laws, like I said earlier on, reviewing, monitoring, implementation. So I'm definitely going to use my contacts.
Now, you are going to represent people from Isoko North constituency, people who are predominantly farmers, fishermen, and a bit of SMEs. Now, these people have been challenged either through the pandemic and climate change. As a legislator, how do you intend to tackle these things through some kind of laws and bills?
Climate change is staring at us. It's real. So in Isoko, for instance, not just Isoko North, it's not peculiar to Isoko North. Isoko North and South, there have been serious cases of flood. How do you encourage those people? Laws have to be passed to encourage them. We must put enabling laws on ground to encourage them. First of all, from starter loans, single digits, even as low as 2%, having a 7 or 8 years grace period for repayment, that we encourage them. And don't forget, there's a trickle-down effect in terms of the GDP. The GDP of Nigeria today is about $443 billion. And that of Delta States is about $18 billion. That is less than 5% of the total GDP if you're looking at it holistically. If those persons are encouraged, how do you calculate the GDP? You have three ways to calculate GDP. You have the value added, you have the income approach, and the expenditure approach. The expenditure approach is basically the most commonly used, where you have C plus I plus C plus G plus I plus NX. My terms. Sorry about that. No, I mean, as a general, but I have to explain that for the layman to understand. C as consumption. I stands for investment. G is government spending. And the NX is for exports. So that gives you your GDP. Consumption is very low right now because your disposable income is not enough. You can't even eat. You're talking about income to spend. So when these people have alternative income, consumption will increase. It's a trickle-down effect. Your GDP increases. Then Delta State, we have a larger GDP compared to the general GDP. You get what I'm saying? So there's a trickle-down effect. If one person is employed or engaged, whichever term you use, you have about 5 or 6 other persons that are also engaged and, benefiting from that employment. So that is one way, or some of the things we have to look into as legislators.
Honorable Jude Omena Ogbimi, it's been a pleasure speaking with you. And above all, I wish you well. And call me for celebration.
Thank you very much.